While we're talking about all things going well for Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish, let's talk seriously for a few minutes about something that could threaten the progress we have made. You all know there's a move underway by a small group of people to form a new city in East Baton Rouge Parish. And while we continue to hear from citizens and businesses in this area who are opposed to this move, there's a petition process underway that could lead to an election if enough signatures are recorded. A new city would attempt to capture sales taxes paid in our major retail areas, the Mall of Louisiana, Seagan Marketplace, La Burge Casino, Perkins Row, and all of the retailers throughout Bluebonnet and the Seagan area. A new city would have to elect a mayor, another council, a police chief. Then it would have to assume responsibilities for police, fire, garbage collection, public works, and other typical city services for more than 100,000 people. In other words, it would have to duplicate the government and services currently being provided by our consolidated form of government. And you know what duplicating services means: duplicating costs. Incorporating a new city is a very complex issue, one that is not based on a sound fiscal rationale, and one that will most certainly face many legal challenges. Who will pay for the years of legal expenses this will result in? What will happen when large tax increases are needed just to maintain existing levels of services? How will we make up funding lost for police protection, the district attorney, the coroner's office, and the district courts? This has the potential to adversely affect public safety for the entire parish. What impact will this have on our bond rating, our ability to finance programs like the Green Light and sewer rehab at the interest rates we now enjoy today? And when it comes to the Green Light program, 79% of the money currently being spent on Green Light projects is being spent within the boundaries of the proposed new city. This amounts to more than $322 million being paid by the residents of the entire parish to build up the infrastructure in this area. It's like the story of the little red hen. You remember, after she found some grains of wheat scattered in the barnyard, she planted the wheat, watered it, harvested, ground it into flour, and then baked some bread. But after all the work was done, all the other barnyard animals want to eat all the bread. And so we're talking about the major retail corridors for East Baton Rouge Parish built up and supported by residents throughout the parish. So why should it be now, and why should it be held hostage in a disagreement over schools? There are many serious debates currently going on in public education, and I know them well. There's a debate over Common Core and how that transition is going. You've seen problems with how the voucher program is working, some charter schools failing. There is no perfect school system, which is why every one of us should be committed to improving our schools. But I suggest to you, the way to do that is not to cripple the strongest local economy in the state of Louisiana and one of the strongest in the nation. The way to do that is to work together to fix what is broken. In East Baton Rouge Parish, our public, private, and faith-based schools all play an important role. But isn't it ironic that we teach our school children to pledge allegiance to our flag with the words, "One nation, under God, indivisible, But now we're talking about people who want to divide us in the name of the children. After decades of working for racial harmony, a few want to turn back the clock. Instead of allowing Baton Rouge to move forward and be recognized as one of America's greatest cities. My two sons are friends with a young white kid from Central, a Vietnamese student from South Baton Rouge. They play basketball together, go to school, take trips together, and yet they never focus on how they might be different from each other. They've just built friendships around those interests they share. But isn't it ironic that our children have figured out that they have more in common to build upon than their differences? Consider the next generation. They have a better vision for the future than the people who are leading this effort to carve up the parish. And when we look to the future, it's the next generation that we're building this community for. So how are we doing it? We continue to revitalize our downtown with more residential units. We build more bike paths, new libraries, better parks. We build a healthier city, a better quality of life, and we work hard to bring the kind of jobs here that will keep the next generation working in Baton Rouge. We revitalize Mid-City with projects like Ardendale in the Smiley Heights area and bring high-tech educational opportunities and new residential options. We make government more efficient, like we're doing with our Department of Public Works that is using GPS to track tasks, online permitting, and access to information the public never had before. We continue to open new markets in Taiwan, Turkey, and other countries because the next generation thinks globally, and they want a city that does so too. And most importantly, we roll up our sleeves and work together to give them the education they deserve. But we do not allow a small group of people to divide us, weaken our capital city, bankrupt our future, or financially cripple this great city and parish, the home of the LSU Tigers and the great Jaguar Nation. That is not the future our children deserve. It is a burden we should not leave for the next generation. To build a city and parish for the future, we made partnerships that are helping us build a trained workforce, bring in business groups and labor organizations together, ABC, AGC, labor all together, utilizing volunteer expertise of groups like SCORE and helping match people with jobs so they can achieve success. We have a nationally recognized Healthy City initiative that involves all of our hospitals, Pennington, our LSU and Southern Ag Centers, BREC, and others to help each and every one of us to live a longer and healthier life. With a grant from Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're taking a fresh fruits and vegetables into the neighborhoods with little access to healthy foods, and you should see the crowds of people who are there to get those produce. When I got the call that Santa Monica, California, was interested in looking at all we are doing, I knew Baton Rouge was starting to make a difference. Simply put, it's working. To build the quality of life families want, we support entertainment options that also bring visitors who support our local businesses. Our Bayou Country Superfest expands this year from 2 nights to 3, after Tiger Stadium was selected as one of the last venues in the George Strait farewell tour. So whether or not all your exes live in Texas, you'll want to be in Baton Rouge for Memorial Day weekend and that historic moment in country music and country music history. On New Year's Eve, we kicked off an exciting new tradition for Baton Rouge with a celebration called Red Stick Revelry, dropping a 9-foot LED lighted red stick from 60 feet above Town Square. The police estimated that more than 15,000 people filled the streets to enjoy live music on our great new Crest stage and ring in the new year. This was a celebration made possible by private funding, one that will now make Baton Rouge a New Year's Eve destination for regional travelers, filling our restaurants and hotels. And if you were downtown that night, you saw Baton Rouge at its very best. Older folks with walking canes, young families with baby strollers, people of every age and race who came together for a very moving experience. And after some great music and a live television broadcast by WAFB sent out to the Raycom Media Network of 53 stations in 18 states, 15,000 voices joined together to sing Old Lang Syne. It was another extraordinary moment in one of America's greatest cities. If you weren't there, don't miss it next year, because it will be even better. I want to leave you with a fable about the old man who on his deathbed summoned his sons around him to teach them an important lesson before he died. He ordered his servants to bring him a large bundle of sticks bound together. Then he said to his oldest son, "Break it." The son strained and strained, but with all his efforts, he was unable to break the bundle. Then the other sons tried, but none of them were successful. So the father said to them, "Each of you take a stick." And when they each had a stick, he called out to them, "Now break them." And each stick was easily broken. "Now you see," said the father, "unity gives strength." Ladies and gentlemen, we are better together. The state of our city and parish is strong, and it is our duty to keep it that way. I love this city and this parish, Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish. And while our differences make us stronger when we come together, we can never allow them to tear us apart so that we break like a twig. Remember the old man's lesson to his sons: unity gives strength. 2014 promises to be another great year, and at the end of it, we will be even stronger. My friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for this overwhelming crowd. And even if we're different, may God bless the good people of East Baton Rouge Parish, and may God bless America. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.